Yeah. So, hello everyone. I hope you all are doing fine. So, today is the day 5 for our Python primer course. And in today's session, we are going to learn about two topics, functions and modules. In the last session, we learned two important topics in Python. We saw two important data structures. One was dictionary, and the second was set. We also solved many examples around them, and we also had a fun quiz on dictionaries. And I'm really enjoying the sessions. So people who are watching the sessions live, please make sure that you have subscribed to our channel. And also, if you are on Discord, so we are also present on Discord. We have a community of around 2,000 people on Discord, and the number is growing day by day. So if you are present on Discord, make sure that you are also calling your friends for attending the session. So uh, we are also going to launch a 6-month course from 10th March. Uh, in that course, you will learn all the required skills that is required to become a full stack developer. We will be teaching you data structures and algorithms. We will be teaching you front end, back end, and also design questions. We will also be teaching you how to give interviews. We will be taking mock interviews and referring you to the companies. So make sure that you have subscribed to the channel and you have also joined our Discord server. Okay. So yeah, if you have any question during the session, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'll reply to your questions. Yeah, so I see people are still joining the session. Yeah. So let me just start today's session. As I told you, today we will be covering two important topics, functions and modules. First, I'll teach you functions and then we will see what are modules in Python. Okay? Yeah. So let me just go over to the first example. So what is a function? Okay. So function is basically a piece of code, okay, which does certain things. So I have declared this function Python food, okay, and I am asking this function to do something, okay. So the logic I am writing inside this block, okay. So the syntax for declaring a function in Python is you use a def keyword, okay, and you give the function name, okay, and you end the function declaration with a colon. After colon you give the first level of indentation, okay. So here what I'm doing is I have made this function. This is a very simple function. In this, what I'm doing is i I am just printing my text to in the center of my console, okay. So I have taken a width equal to 100, and then I'm calculating the left margin using this, and then I'm printing it in to in the so in the center of my console, okay. And then I'm calling this function. So I have declared the function here. If I don't call this function, right, nothing will happen, okay. It's just I have a function, but it will not get executed. It will be interpreted by your Python compiler. It will be it will be compiled in the bytecode using your compiler, but it will not be called, okay. So if I want to call this function, right, what I'll do is I'll just call this function using this syntax. I'll give the function name, and the function is not taking any argument right now, so I will not provide any argument, okay. So if I run this, right, I'll see that the string uh, Python primer course is left is aligned to the center, okay. Okay, yeah, cool. uh, I think I have not told you about this operator in Python. I'll just show you what this operator does. So I have opened this terminal. If I write Python here, so if I show you a equal to 4 by 3. Okay. Oh, sorry, let me open Python 3 since we are learning Python 3.8. Okay, so if I give a equal to 4 by 3, the output I'll get is the floating point number 1.333. Okay, but if I use this double slash, the output I'll get is an integer. Okay, so this is an integer division. Okay, okay, cool. So yeah, let me take the second example now. Okay. So in this second example, what we are doing is I am passing the argument to the function. So I have this argument here. I was declaring the text inside the function, but say if you want to pass any argument to the function, right? So you can have many, you can have multiple argument to the function, and when you're calling the function, you can pass that argument when you're calling the function. Okay. So here I'm passing this text here, and the function is doing the same thing. Okay, let me just run this again. See, I see the text in the center of the console. Okay, okay. Anyone has any question? Okay, there are no questions right now. Okay, so let me move to the second example here. Okay, so yeah. So see, here what I am showing you is, so here the function has three arguments x, y, z. If I give these three arguments to the function, the the program runs fine. Okay, I get the sum 35. Okay, but say if you want to pass multiple arguments, right? If the caller doesn't know that how many are, so if you hard code it like that xyz, then that means that you have to pass, the caller has to pass three arguments, right? Say if I'm calling your function or if I'm using your api, right, and I want to pass more than three arguments, or I want to pass just two arguments. Okay, so in that case what we need to do is, okay, yeah, so let me just show you what happens if I pass more than three arguments. You will see that we get a type error, and it says adder function takes three positional arguments but five were given. Okay, so your program crashes with this error. Okay, so how to handle these kind of scenarios, right? So to handle these kind of scenarios, right, what you need to do is, you need we have this syntax in python where we pass, uh, we declare, we have a variable and we put star in front of it. Okay, that means this can take multiple argument. Okay, so if I just say, if I just comment these lines and print num and call this and run this function, you will see that this num is a tuple here. Okay, so uh, the caller has passed multiple argument, and this argument will be stored, the number will hold all the arguments inside a tuple. Okay, now your num variable is holding all the argument inside a tuple. You can iterate over those tuple using a for loop, and you can perform your operations. Okay, so let me just comment this and run the program now. So here what I'm doing is I am just adding all the numbers that I'm getting as an argument. Okay, I've declared sum equal to 0, and then I'm iterating to each and every element, iterating through each and every element in the tuple and calculating the sum. Okay, now if I run this, right, you'll see that Now we can pass multiple arguments, right? Okay, so now let's move to a different example. Okay, anyone has any question? Okay, so there are no questions. Okay, so in the previous example, we saw that we were passing multiple arguments, right? But say if you have to pass arguments in the form of key value pair, okay. Yesterday we learned about dictionaries, right? So dictionaries hold items in the form of key value pair, okay. So say if you want to pass arguments in the form of key value pair to your function. Okay. So in that case, what you do is the syntax. So this is called keyword argument. It's called keyword arguments in Python. Okay. Also known as the short form. The short form of this is also known as this. Okay. So here what I am doing is in this example, I am passing key value pair. I am passing this is the key and this is the value. This is the key and this is the value. So first name is Black, last name is Panther, age is 42, and the phone number is this. Okay. And let me just comment this first and run the program. Okay. If you see, right, your data type of data is a dictionary and it is holding the items in the form of key value, right? And if I you can also print the key and values using this. So all these syntax data dot items and string dot format we have already seen in the previous videos. See, so now I am printing that the first name is Black, last name is Panther, age is 42, and phone number is this. Okay, let me run this example now. So you can have any number of arguments, and the argument will be stored in the function as a dictionary. Okay, so you get you the argument stored as a dictionary. You have the dictionary. Now you can iterate over that. See, so here I have added in this in the second example I have added these two fields, email and country also, and you get these items in the dictionary. Okay. So what we have seen till now is we have seen how do we declare a function. First, in the first example, we saw a function without an argument. Then we saw declaring a function with fixed number of arguments. Then we saw how do we declare a function which can take input as multiple arguments. Okay. Now we are seeing how do we declare a function which can take input as multiple arguments in the form of key value pair. Okay. Someone is asking, sir, why we use double asterisk in data. Okay. So this is a syntax that we follow in Python. Okay. So as I told that if you want to pass items to if you want to pass argument to a function which can hold your items in the form of key value pair. Okay. So in that case, you need to use this syntax. Okay. I hope it answers your question. Okay. Yeah. Now let me move to the next example. Okay. So in this example, we'll see that uh, we can also provide default value to your arguments. Okay. So say you have this function, right? And in this function, I'm using these three variables x, y, z, and I've declared z equals to 10. Okay. and when I'm calling the function, I'm just passing these two values, 10 and 12. Okay, so what will happen is the z will automatically hold the value 10, x, your x will be assigned the value 10, y will be assigned the value 12. Okay, so if I run this program, you'll see that the sum will be 10 plus 12 minus 10, that is 12. Okay, similarly, what you can do is, so these kind of functions are used when you don't want to pass the value of a particular argument. Say if I declare this as none, right? Okay, and I am performing some function, so let me not perform addition here. Okay, so I have a logic here, right? That if z is not equal to, or if z, then only I'll perform x plus y. Okay, else I'll perform x minus x plus y minus z. Okay, so if you have these kind of logic, right, where you want to give some default value to a variable. Okay, and depending on what is the default value of that, what is the value of that variable, you want to perform some operations. Okay, so you can use uh, this kind of syntax in those scenarios. Okay, now let me just uncomment this. Yeah, so now in this example what I have done is I have given default value to all of my three variables. X is 5, y is 8, and z is 10. Okay, now let me just give like this. So when I'm calling this, I am saying that call this adder with x equal to 10 and z equal to 30. Okay, so in this case y will be automatically assigned a value 8. Okay, so if I run this, right, I'll get output as minus 12, because 10 plus 8, 18, 18 minus 30 is minus 12. Okay, what happens if I don't give anything, right? If I do it like this. Okay, or say, what if I do it like this, x equal to 30, and uh, and I don't give here, like I just give the value here and don't say that what variable is holding the value 30. Okay, so in that case what will happen is your Python interpreter won't understand that this value 30 is for y or it's for z. Okay, so it will show this error, that positional argument after keyword argument. Okay, so you will get the error that position argument follows a keyword argument, because your interpreter doesn't understand that this value is for y or z. Okay, if I remove this, right, so what will happen if I remove this? So in this case, um, uh, the program will run fine, because I am giving I am passing 10 comma 30, so x will become 10 and y will become 30. Okay, the only case you will start to get errors is when your interpreter is not able to understand that which value it has to assign to which variable. Okay, here it can clearly understand, right, that x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 30. Okay, yeah, okay. So okay, so I have explained you multiple ways in which we can declare functions in Python. Okay, now we will understand scope of variables inside a function. Okay, so if I'll take this example here. So here what I am doing is I have declared this function, right? and inside this function I have declared another function. Okay, I have these two variables var1 and var2 here. Okay, and inside the functions I have some local variables. Okay, so so and here I am calling this function, this is called outer function and this is called inner function. Okay, so I am calling the outer function. Okay, so if I call the outer function, this line will get executed, then this line will get executed, and the value for var2 will be printed as 100 and not 10. Okay, here var2 is the variable which is accessible to all your functions. Okay, so this is a global variable, but this is a local variable for this function. Okay, so if I print this, the value for var2 will be 100. Okay, and value for var3 will be 1000. So if I run this, right, see, value for var2 is 100 and value for var3 is 1000. And if I print var2 outside the function, right, so here the value for var2 will be 10, because your the scope of var2 finishes after the function ends. So var2, the local variable var2 का scope will finish after the function ends. Okay, yeah, so if you see here, right, so var2 will be 10. Okay, so now what if I want to access the global variable var2 inside this function? Okay, so in that case what I need to do is I need to use this global keyword var2. Okay, and what I'll do is just let me do var2 plus say 15. Okay, yeah, so yeah, if I run this, right, so you will see that this will also change. See, the change I did here, right, is also reflected here, because I am using this global keyword here. So that means I am accessing the global variable var2 and changing the value by adding 15, and then when I'm printing it outside the function, the changes are reflected here also. Okay, yeah. So just let me give you one more example here. Okay. If anyone is facing any difficulty in understanding these topics or you have any doubt, please put your comments in the chat box. If I print the address of these variables, right? So I told you that these two variables are stored at different locations because this is a global variable and this is the variable which is local to your function. Okay. So to prove this, what I'm doing is I'm printing the addresses of these variables. Okay. See, the address for these two are different. So that proves that they are stored at different location in your memory. Okay, so this was a very basic example which explained you the local namespaces and global namespaces. Okay, now I'll take another example which is a little bit more complicated to make you understand the scope of variables in a function in Python. Okay, so here if you see, right, so here I have declared this function x1, and inside this I have another function, and inside this I have another function. Okay, and then I am using this in this program, I am using this locals method. Okay, what this method does is it will show you all the attributes, yeah, or all the variables that are accessible by this function. Okay, so x3, right, the scope of x3 is this. Okay, so it will show you all the local variables that can be accessed by this function. Okay, similarly here, using locals will show you all the local variables that can be accessed by x2. Okay, so what I'm doing is I have declared some variables inside x3, and I'm doing, basically I'm assigning this equal to eggs and all that, right? So just let me run the program. Okay, now if you see, right, in x3 locals are z, and the value of z is x. That means in x3, uh, the local variable is only x. Okay, and the value is only z, and the value for that is x. Okay, in x2 the locals are, in x2 the locals are x3 and y. Okay, x3 and y. Okay, uh, in x1 the locals are x2 and x. Okay, okay, so your outer function cannot access the value of any value that is, uh, that so any value that you declare inside your inner function, right, any variable that you declare inside your inner function, your outer function cannot access that. If you try to access y here, right, you will see that it will show you unresolved reference y. Okay, but on the other hand, if you access y here, right, so y is declared outside this function, right, but you can access y here also. Okay, that is uh, uh, because this x3, right, is declared inside this x2 function. Okay, so any attribute that is local to x2 can be accessed inside x3 function. Okay, so if I run this, right, the program will run fine. Okay, anyone has any doubt here? Okay, there are no doubts. So I'll now move to modules in Python. Okay, I hope these examples clarify what is a global namespace in Python and what is a local namespace in Python. So if I declare, say, some uh, a equal to 10 here, okay, so I can access this a anywhere inside my Python file, because a is a part of global namespace. That means I can access a anywhere inside my Python file. Okay, but since this z is local to x3, right, I can only access z inside the function x3. I cannot access this outside my function x3. Okay, now let me move to different now we are going to see a different concept. We'll see what are modules in Python. Okay, and when do we need to use modules in Python, what are the advantages of using modules, we'll see in the next example. Okay, so basically, right, when you are making any application in your company, or when you are making a big application, you don't write all your code in a single file. So what you do is you break your code into multiple files. Okay, so there will be some files which will be using the code of another file. Okay, so if I take this example, right, uh, I have this file, math module. Okay, so inside that, what I have done is I have declared multiple functions here. Okay, so say I have now a different file, or I have some client that is accessing, that wants to use my API, right? So I would, for this class, I will call each and every function as an API. Okay, so they want to use my API. So what they'll do is they'll import this module. Okay, importing this module means when they import this module, basically they can access each and every function, or uh, each and every attribute that I have declared I am using in this file. Okay, so here if you see, right, I have three APIs. I have this add API, I have find difference, and I have Fibonacci. Okay, so if so let me just make a new file here. I'll just call this client.py. Okay, and in this file, what I'll do is now I want to use some functions or this API inside this client.py. Okay, so what I can do is I'll do import math module. I will import this, and then what I'll do is I'll print math module dot the API name and the argument you want to give. It's Fibonacci and sorry, Fibonacci, and the argument, say I give 5. Okay, if I run this, okay, it is saying, okay, the spelling is wrong. Say, see, now I'm able to access Fibonacci function which was inside my math module. Okay, so I can also access, similarly I can also access the other functions. Okay, so this is the one syntax. The another syntax is you can use from. So if you do it like this, right, import math module. Okay, so the now if you want to access any function that is inside this class, you have to use math module dot Fibonacci. Okay, instead what you can do is import. I'll just directly import this function, and I'll call this like this. If I run this, see, okay, I can even, so now, but so what is the what are the cons of using this kind of syntax? Okay, so say if I want to use another function from the same class, okay, in that case I cannot access this because I have not imported that function in my client.py. Okay, so if I do it like this, right, import Fibonacci. Okay, now what I can do is I can use all the functions that I had in math module dot py. Okay, uh, yeah, dot add. I say I'll so 2 comma 3. Say, say. So when do we need to, when do we use a from kind of syntax, and when do we use this syntax? Okay, so when you just want to use, say, one or two functions, your this math module, say it has, say, around 50 functions. Okay, if you don't want to use all the functions, or if you don't want to use, say, 10 functions, you just want to use maybe just one function. So the correct syntax would be from the module name, import that function name. Okay, but if you want to use multiple functions, the preferred syntax would be you import the module here, and then you use the module name dot function name, and you call it using the syntax. Okay, So, and when do you and why do we use modules? Because uh, the applications are very big, right? They have like thousands of lines of code in multiple files. So you don't write all your code in one file. You break it into multiple files, and each file have the related piece of code. Okay, so if you want to use the code from one file into a different file, you can just import the particular API from that file using import, and you can use that function inside your another file. Okay, now, okay, okay, now just let me explain what is standard library in Python. Okay, so in the Python, when you install Python, it comes packaged with some some default functions or some default modules. Okay, so those modules that comes packaged with your Python interpreter, those are called standard library. Okay, so I'll just print what are the modules that come packaged with my Python interpreter. I'll print it here. Okay, so if you see, right, I have these modules that comes packaged with my Python interpreter. Okay, so if they are packaged with my Python interpreter, right, I don't need to import them. Okay, so I'll just print all the functions that are part of this built-in modules. Okay, okay, so you are seeing that this built-in modules has so many attributes which can be directly used in our Python code. Okay, so in the last sessions, I have used many of these functions. I have used length function. I had used str. I had used frozen set in yesterday's class. I had used list multiple times. I was converting a set into a list. I was converting a tuple into a list. So you must be wondering that how I am able to use these functions, right? I was not importing anything. I was just calling list, and in arguments I was passing something. Okay, I was able to do it because they come packaged with your Python. Okay, as part of this built-in modules. Okay, yeah. So anyone has any doubt? Okay, so there are no doubts. So yeah, so that's it about today's session. In today's session, what we saw functions and different ways to define a function. Then we saw modules and when do we need to use modules and why do we need to use modules. And then we saw standard library in Python. Okay, so I'll put in the code snippets for this session in the GitHub repo. The link for the GitHub repo is present in the description below. And I have also mentioned the take home assignment link, so please make sure that after the session you guys are also solving the take home assignment. Okay, we also have a doubt session regularly on our Discord server at 3:30 p.m. in which we discuss the solution for take home assignment. Okay, so if you guys have any doubt, please join the Discord channel at 3:30. We will be discussing the solution of the take home assignment also. Okay, and if you are liking the videos, please make sure that you have subscribed to the channel, you are sharing the videos with your friends, and also make sure that you have subscribed to our Discord server. The link for the Discord server is also present in the description. Okay, so I'll see you all tomorrow at the same time at 8 p.m. Sorry, tomorrow is Saturday, so the class will not be happening on the weekends. I'll see you on Monday at 8 p.m. Till then, good night and take care.